Hey, what's slicing everyone? Chris back with CAC Knives with a knife discussion video. And today we're going to be talking about what I believe makes a perfect knife. Now on the table, I have my 4 examples of what I think a perfect knife is. More specifically, a perfect EDC knife. Okay? Now, there's 5 main categories that I'm going to discuss today that make a knife perfect. And, I have a lot of knives in my collection that are very close, but out of all the knives in my collection, these 4 hit everything on the dot. And all of them maybe just lose a tiny 0.01 percentage point somewhere, but I consider these to be 10 out of 10s. So the first is the fit and finish. Now, a lot of knives in my collection will hit this parameter. Fit and finish is a big deal. You want your knife to look good, especially if you're a knife collector. You want your knife to look clean, and you want it to, feel good in hand without having any rough spots, any ridges, or anything like that. You want the blades to look good. You want them to be even at the top on the spine and everything else. A lot of knife companies are real good with fit and finish, so I'm not going to talk too much about that one. I haven't seen too many knife companies anymore do bad in the fit and finish department. Outside of something like an M-Tech or something like that, which they're just in the business to make a quick buck anyways, right? So the next is the price for the knife. So this is the cost for what you're getting. Now, I do need to do an updated what knives are worth video, but again, a lot of the knives in my collection are definitely worth their price. I don't usually buy anything that isn't worth its value to me. Now, there is a way that you can put $1 on things, but there is a hidden, like, oh, I really like that kind of factor. And if you really like something, guys, it's your money, you go ahead and get it. But as far as materials per what you're getting, there is kind of a way that you can break down things that don't have specialty finishes to them. So like a specialty finish, for example, would be on this, CRKT Pilar. It has this full custom scale done by hand. And the backspacer's done by hand, and I replaced the pocket clip and a lot of the hardware with titanium and so on and so forth. So that knife no longer is using its base value. The knife now has new added value to it. Another example being here, this QSP Penguin. The scales have been anodized by Blades We Love. So now there is a, customized value to these knives. When we're talking the price for these knives, we're talking just the base value that you get. Now, the only one sitting here that I would say maybe has some talking points for not being worth its value might be the Demko, but then again, the Shark-Lock is a little more expensive to manufacture, but it also is only coming in AUS 10A steel, which is an upgrade from AUS 8, but considering this knife goes for about 140 bucks, which is the same price as the Finch, and the Finch is in 154 cm, which I would say is a better blade steel than AUS 10A. And you can't say the Finch doesn't have a little bit more of a pricier, thing going on here, because I'm sure getting the resin finish on here took some steps at the factory, especially since they got to put that Finch logo in there. And yeah, so, plus the Demko did not come with a titanium clip, where the Finch did. So keep that in mind. Both are USA designers, so we can't really use that as a factor. But yeah, I do think you might be paying a little bit of an upcharge for that Shark-Lock. That's just my opinion, but that would be the only place the Demko would lose its 0.1 point there, would be that. These other two here, the Kizer, this is the October. It is also in 154 cm, and the Civivi here, the Gordo, it is in a 9CR, 10CR combo, I believe. Which, you know, this knife was only, I think, $63 when I bought it. So definitely worth its price for sure, as well as the Kizer. This Kizer, it was about 90 bucks. So yeah, 90 for 154 cm. This nice, really good feeling white micarta. And yeah, now it is worth noting that the only knife that's sitting here that came with a titanium clip or any titanium on it at all was the Finch. The Finch came with the titanium clip. The other three, I added it on there. But for the purposes of this perfect knife video, I'm just saying that knives that have the option to be able to get titanium clips on them are going to score higher, and all of these have those options on the market. That's the only thing holding things like this QSP Hawk back from being perfect, is the fact that you cannot get a titanium clip for QSP, and I think that's a problem. Stainless steel clips will eventually break after use. Maybe not for everyone, but you know, if you're somebody that's throwing the same knife in your pocket every day, eventually that stainless steel is going to give way, and it's either going to loosen up too much or it's going to snap. Titanium is a lot more durable, and not to mention it generally looks better. So if a knife has an option for a titanium clip, it's going to get brownie points for that. So the next, number 3, smooth action and fidgety. Fidgety is not something that's going to be required for everybody in a perfect EDC knife, but for most knife collectors that like folding knives, we're going to like that. And in order for a knife to be very fidgety, I think it's required to have at least 2 means of opening it. For me to think one is fidgety, it has to have an option for a reverse flick, and it has to have at least one other kind of opening mechanism. For the Demko, for example, the Shark Lock can open the knife and you can reverse flick it. And the other 3 all have flippers, and they also have reverse flick options. So they all get points for that. They're all on ball bearings. A lot of knives in my collection fall under this example. The Hawk that I just brought out does. The Civivi Bull Tusk definitely does. This knife just is a little bit big, I think, for a perfect EDC carry knife. I love this knife, but that was the only thing holding this knife back from making the list today, was its size, okay? But we will get to that category soon. Next one, actually we're on that category now. If it's easy to carry and it's lightweight. So if a knife is too heavy, you're going to insanely notice it in your pocket, right? Knives are pretty good about being lighter weight today. However, things like this, this is the Civivi Lazar, I think is how you pronounce that. Now, I knew this was going to be heavier when I purchased it, and that's fine because it has brass scales, but you will really notice this bad boy in your pocket depending on what kind of pants or shorts that you have on. You know, you'll really notice it. Now, if you just have jeans on, and obviously they fit you good enough, it's not going to be that big of a deal, but you know, there's certain kinds of clothes that you can't even carry this knife with because it's so heavy. So that's what I mean by that, and all of these knives hit that. Even the Demko, which is a little bit bigger, is very lightweight. It's actually lighter weight than the Kizer is, and it's lighter weight than the Finch, and I'm not sure, I wouldn't say it's lighter weight than the Civivi, but the Civivi, by the way, is the 100%. This is the most perfect knife I think I've ever had. This literally is a 10 out of 10, in my opinion, as is the Finch. They are the two 100% most perfect. The Kizer's pretty dang close. The only problem I have with the Kizer is you can't carry it very often if you want to keep that white finish on it. Even mine's still already got a little bit of kind of dirt and grime. coming on the scales because it's white. I mean, you can try to clean it with some soap and stuff, but it is white micarta, so, you know, you're only going to be able to get so far. And then the fifth is easy to maintain. Now, the Demco, you may think, is a little bit harder to maintain, and it can be. You just have to be careful when you take it apart with that shark lock. But other than that, it's actually not too bad, the Demco is, to take apart. I mean, it does have the most hardware here, and it will be the most difficult, which is why it's up at the top. That and the fact that the price might be a little, little overpriced. The rest of these are fairly easy to take apart. Now, if this concerned me, I would also add a thing on here that would actually completely eliminate all of these knives except for the Demco, and that would be left-hand carry availability. None of these knives here can be left-hand carried except the Demco on this table right now, as you can see, because none of them have holes on the side. Civivi, for the most part, has most of their knives come with left-handed carry options. As you can see, the Bull Tusk has it, but I'm not 100% sure why they didn't put it on this knife. I guess maybe because they wanted that hole in the middle on this side for some little bit of creativity, and there's nothing wrong with that. It just, you know, a lot of knives, I can't even tell you how many examples I have. Like, they don't have left-handed carry. Like, let's go back to the premium QSP, no left hand, you know? Now, the cheaper budget QSP does have left-handed carry option, which is interesting enough. But like, here's my Elementum, okay? And I kind of understand this one. This one might have been ugly if they'd had that cut out in there. So at least I can understand that. I understand it on some. I don't understand it on all, especially on budget knives. Like, Ethan Grow, I know you've gotten better in the knife world, but come on now. You couldn't have made that left-hand carry available. It just, it's not something that's going to bother me, but I know for some people that would bother them. I'm sure they're especially upset by these three here, just because these are three pretty big brands in the knife community, Civivi, Finch, and Kizer. All three of these are making the list, and left-handed people, if you want to get them, you're going to have a hard time finding this one anyways. But if you wanted to have them, you'd have to, I mean, you could carry them in your left pocket, but they're, you know, they're going to be backwards. Like, you know, carry them like this. They're going to just feel weird when you pull them out. And yeah, if I was left-handed, this list would be entirely different, I'm sure. But yeah, that is something to keep in mind. I know roughly 10% of the population is left-handed, so that's 10% of customers that are struggling here and probably instantly have a complete different opinion than me. But, you know, this is just a personal opinionated video. Let me know what you guys think makes a perfect knife to you. These, to me, hit every parameter in the book for my personal opinion and collection. Like I said, I have almost all of my knives are, I would score at least a 7 or above that are in my, you know, good collection. And what I mean by good collection is the knives that I keep in my cases. So I don't know many knives that aren't, like even my Terrier Rat, you know, especially now that I got it fully pimped out with the better clip and everything, you know, I'm sure this would get at least an 8 if I rated it on all the parameters. Obviously it doesn't have the full fidgetivity there, but it's close. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. Do you agree? Do you think that there's something that I should add here to make a knife a perfect knife? Tried to hit some different price points here. You know, we got 60, we got 90, and then we got 140 respectively. So I don't have a knife that's base price is $200 that I would consider a perfect knife. Once you hit the $200 point, knives at that point become more about you know, what they look like, what company they are, and where they were made. Because I'm gonna be honest, guys, with what's on the market right now, like with the MaxAce Black Mirror 2 that just came out, that was an S90V. It had fat carbon inlay, gold anodized clip, and hardware. That knife was only $150. So, and yes, that was made in China, but that's kind of just my point, that I think prices of knives are shifting. And what used to be, you know, crazy $150 is coming down. And companies like Spyderco and stuff, like, I love Spyderco, but man, they're just looking more and more overpriced. So I'm definitely gonna have to do an updated video about that. Unfortunately, I at this point do not have a black MaxAce Black Mirror 2. They're kind of hard to get. They sell out pretty quick, so I kind of just gotta hope for the best. But if you guys see that knife available, I recommend you get it. It's definitely one of the best deals on the market. I mean, we can also think about when knives like this are coming out with, and I know it's more of a budget Timascus, but you know, you got a specialty finish on the titanium, M390 blade, bearings, full titanium all around, you know. Ugh, man, this is so hard to do on camera sometimes. There we go. It's definitely going to affect the way that my price video will go. But that'll be a topic for next time, guys. Thank you guys for tuning in. And if you like my videos, consider subscribing. When I hit 500, I'm going to be doing the first giveaway. When we hit about 480, I'll kind of give a teaser and some videos about what that'll be. But yeah, enjoy your weekend, guys.